Yes.
Can hear you. Yes.
Excellent.
Andrew Lawton from
Great.
Reskube.
Absolutely. Good
Welcome,
to meet you.
Andrew.
Yeah, good to see you again.
Welcome.
Good to see
Good
you.
to see you in
Cheers.
person, Andrew.
Yes.
For our audience, why don't you tell them a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. So I'm the founder and CEO of Reskube. We had an interesting start in life. We were originally a work area recovery company and providing work area recovery full back office for the City of London. And of course, March 2020, everyone went home and people decided that actually they didn't need work area recovery anymore. So we had to think very quickly about what was relevant to the new way of working. And that's where we came up with the idea of Reskube, because every time people were talking to us about full back office, people were always saying, how resilient is your recovery center? Mm-hmm. And, it's very simple to make a recovery center resilient. You put dual feed power and dual feed comms and a generator and UPS, and you've got a resilient building. But all of those people doing that critical work that were going to the recovery center are now doing that at home. And that's where the complication comes in, because building resilience into people's homes is much more complex, particularly if you're trying to standardize it, remotely manage it, and do it from an enterprise perspective.
Yeah, we actually, one of our guests earlier today asked us about that. When you move everyone home, how do you standardize resilience?
Exactly. Yeah. Well, that's what we've done. We've really just put resilient power and resilient comms in a box that's very easy to send out to staff. There's one button, so these staff don't need to be technical. It's all remotely managed and set up, configured and supported. So these remote staff just literally have to just plug it in, put it under their desk, and then they've got resilient power and comms, and it's literally as simple as that. So they can just carry on working, even in places like South Africa, where you've got really poor power. They're having 3 power outages a day. And Rescube's a very simple solution to that.
So you're saying that it's a cube they put under their desk. So is this something big, cumbersome? What is it? I know because you're only 2 booths over.
Right.
So I know what it looks like.
I can see it right there.
Yeah, it's not. It's about half the size of carry-on luggage. So it's not very large. It's designed specifically to be under your desk. We also designed it so it looks reasonably good to be in the home as well, as opposed to sort of big black plastic box. It's quite nice to look at as well. Although of course it's going to be under a desk, but it's also certified for the home, and that's important because if you're an enterprise and you're sending out electrical devices to people's homes, you need to ensure that they're certified. If it's not certified and something bad happens, of course you're opening yourself up for litigation and increasing risk as opposed to decreasing risk.
Now, we've talked to you before, but I don't think I asked the question, how do you power the box itself?
Well, it basically sits under your desk plugged in all the time. So it's being powered by your home.
That's how
exactly.
Okay.
So it's your home power that goes through it ordinarily, and it comes out the 2 sockets at the front. You plug your laptop and screens, etc., into the Reskube. So it's your home power going through ordinarily. And if your home power disappears, then it'll flip across to the battery. It does that in less than 10 milliseconds. So it's full UPS capability, and it's got surge protection and all that sort of thing as well. And the Wi-Fi works in a very similar way. So it takes in your home broadband, represents that as Reskube Wi-Fi, and you connect your critical devices to the Reskube Wi-Fi. And if your home broadband disappears, then it flips across to a 4G network. And again, it does that in one ping, so if you're on a Teams call or a Zoom call, you literally wouldn't even notice. You just carry on the call. So it means that staff have got that level of confidence that they can just get on and work, even if things around them are keeling over.
Yeah, I know that may sound like a stupid question, but I know we were talking about it offers all this power, and I'm like, okay, but how are you powering that? So
sure.
That's why I asked
what powers the power?
What
exactly.
powers the power?
You can actually plug a solar panel directly into Reskube as well. So without any of the other infrastructure, any inverter or anything else, literally take a cable from a solar panel and plug it in the back, and it'll charge it.
I could take this up north into
cabin.
cottage country to
absolutely, and
to watch movies against the camper.
Put it in your RV. Well, the next year this one's Reskube Home. Designed for the home, but next year we'll have what we're calling Reskube Nomad, which is for that particular type of scenario, RVs and outdoor living, etc.
That's a great product name, too, by the way. Very good name.
Great.
Yeah,
Correct.
Nomad. I like that.
So
That's-
is this your first time? I believe this is your first time at DRJ Fall
Yes.
here in Phoenix.
Yeah.
How are you finding the conference?
It's great, actually. Yeah, for us, it's we're sort of testing the water a little bit. We're
Yes.
trying to understand a bit more about the US market. Obviously, we came from the financial services market in London, and this is a very different market. But of course, the US power infrastructure is is aging in certain areas. And I think you also get proper weather in the US. We don't get proper weather in the UK. What with you get hurricanes and tornadoes and firestorms and etc. So
Snowstorms.
yeah, exactly. So so power outages are a real problem, and as is interruptions to the broadband. So that's where we've come over here really to test the market, and the feedback has been extremely positive.
Yeah, and we've seen that your booth is just a few doors down from where we're broadcasting. There's a lot of software companies here. We all understand the need and power of software, but it's kind of you have to think about, okay, why do I need this? There's a step there, and we've seen a lot of people attracted and intrigued to the Reskube, and it's immediately understandable. Oh, power and internet, like
Sure.
those are important.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
you don't have to. There's no one saying, well, why is this important?
Yeah.
You already know
Yeah, exactly.
why it's important.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you talk about all the software. Of course, we're more and more reliant on software to run our, crisis management, to run our business continuity plans and resiliency plans. But of course, without power and internet, accessing
matter.
yeah, exactly. You can't even access the software. So that's where having resilient infrastructure is critical, really.
Do you focus mostly on corporate clients, or is this something that, let's say, James or I, for our homes, we could say, reach out and say, hey, you know what, I'd like something like this.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely. Well, I mean, it's originally designed, of course, for the enterprise and the remote management, so that the IT team can help, was really designed for enterprise. But yes, of course, for individual users, and what we've tried very hard to do is keep the price point at a low level, so that the sort of bar for that who's critical enough to have a Reskube is low. So the unit's only $1,500, or you can have Reskube as a service, which is $60 a month, which is a pretty reasonable price, and that provides the Reskube and also the support, wraparound support as well.
that the reason why I was just thinking that is some of the disasters that have been happening all over the place. One of the big things that keep coming out is there's no power, people's cell phones die, fires in Hawaii, earthquake in Morocco, all these different places. And I'm kind of looking, if Reskube had something, or well, we do have something, if they had something like Reskube, then that could help out in so many other different situations. It's not just support for my IT, supplier, or support for my employer, but it could actually help out in a lot of other ways.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We obviously designed it for one use case, but actually the number of use cases is enormous. We for example, we've got a UK power network company that is using Reskube to support vulnerable individuals when they have to turn the network off. So they have to turn the network off to upgrade it or repair it. And knowing where these vulnerable people are, maybe being cared for at home, medical devices at home, etc. And what they do is they turn up with a Reskube, provide it to this individual for a period of time while they're turning the network off, and then come and collect it afterwards. So but that's a use case we certainly hadn't originally thought of. But wherever there's a need for power or comms or both, in fact, then Reskube works.
Darn, I thought I had a new idea there, and you guys are.
Well, there you go. No, absolutely. It's something that people are coming to us with new use cases actually for Reskube all the time, and it's great to hear. And the products as it stands obviously works well for those specific use cases. But next year, when with Reskube Nomad, and we've got this thing called Reskube Hub as well, which is a bigger device really for small offices and retail and construction sites, etc. Those use cases are building and building and building. So yeah, exciting times.
That's got to be exciting to you that you created the product for initially what you thought was the use case and the vision, and the market's coming to you and saying, well, actually, we're going to use it in this way, or
Sure.
have you thought about that, where your
Yeah.
customers are innovating for you? That's how you know you have, I feel like, a really strong product.
Yeah, absolutely, and it is very exciting, as you say. But I guess if you think about it, pretty much everything we do now has that combination of power and internet as a sort of basic fundamental.
Correct.
And of course, if you think about it, there are going to be these many different use cases for anything that provides power and internet. So yeah, it's great times.
And it's really a usable product because, as we've said, we can see it on the table just a couple of booths down, and it's not something big and cumbersome or that would be difficult to use or
It's
manage
smaller
or
than
move.
I thought it was going to be. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
And if you can't figure out how to push one button, I would argue maybe that person shouldn't be an employee. I don't know if that's the right thing to say, but if you can't push a single button, we probably have some performance issues. So
Sure.
Yeah, it's definitely like a user-friendly type of thing. And to your point, it can be used in so many different ways and to help so many different things. I wouldn't have thought of your example of the example of an elderly person, with equipment at home and things like that. That probably wouldn't have cropped into my head, but that's really the medical field, I guess, is a good way of saying it. Is an interesting potential use for this device.
Yeah, absolutely. Telehealth is obviously burgeoning, particularly since the pandemic and everyone sort of going home. The benefit of being able to deliver medical advice over the internet is recognized now, and I think there's 2.4 million people in the US alone that are being cared for at home. And of course, many of them have medical devices that are obviously need power, but they're also remotely monitored. And having the access to both power and comms is crucial for them. Right. And that's where something like Reskube really does ensure that continuity in areas where the power and internet is inconsistent.
Yeah, well, it's life-saving. Right?
Yeah,
it could be a life-saving device.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is fantastic. Well, thank you so much.
That's right. It's a pleasure.
It's great to actually meet you, because I know we've all talked.
We've talked.
We have talked for absolutely ages.
Times.
Yeah. Absolutely. And if people want to connect with you or learn more about Reskube, what's the best way for them to do that?
Well, you can certainly find us on the web. It's www.reskube.com, and it's reskube.com, or email me directly. It's andrew.lawton, LAWTON @reskube.com. So look forward to hearing from
and I think they can find you on LinkedIn too.
Absolutely. Can do.
Fantastic. All right.
Thank you so much, Andrew.
Excellent.
Really appreciate it. All the best to Reskube.
Yeah, good speaking to you.
Sounds like you've got a big future ahead with
We certainly feel like it. Yeah, absolutely.
That's great. That's a great position to be in.
Cheers. Bye.
Thank you.